Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. Welcome to Sportsline Trivia, and we're here to talk sports. As you know, the phone number 724-236-0430. Mike Pavlik tonight. Next Monday, we do know that George Guido is going to be here Monday. Is he going to be with you or with me?
Right.
It depends on family and what's going on. I'll tell you what, though, from my earlier days in radio, which began in 1959, virtually I worked every holiday throughout the year. Every one of them. There was no break.
No,
anyway.
Exactly.
Let's now, as you know, folks, you can accept a trivia question from us when your conversation has concluded. And if you do so and answer correctly, you'll win a prize, and you can win every other week. That's our primary rule. The Grand Salami Prize or the Mystery Profile can be won only once a month, and you can only try the Mystery Profile once in a calendar month. Multiple choice questions, we give you 15 seconds of time to answer, 20 seconds for the Grand Salami. The Mystery Profile goes clue by clue, and if you have not called the show in ages or never, you're considered a first-time caller, you'll win more than one prize. My website has the answers. That's what makes this thing so easy. DoubleDribbleBob.com. I have a daily sports trivia question. It's up for 24 hours, and then it changes. Just jot down the answer. Tune into my radio show Saturday mornings, WAVL in Apollo. They're 9-10 on the AM dial, sports history and sports nostalgia. By the way, if Mark calls tonight, we have an answer on how long. It's an educated guess. Base paths have been 90 feet. That was something that he asked a week ago, so we're going to, if he calls, we have an answer tonight. And what else, Mike?
Well, we have lots of Steelers stuff going on. The first round of cuts will come tomorrow morning. They have to get down to 75 from 90, and then they have to go, after they play the game on Thursday against Carolina, they have to get down to their 53 on Saturday before Labor Day. So that'll take care of that. High school football starts on Friday. College football starts on Saturday. So that's the football end of it, and the Pirates are in the middle of whatever they're doing here. I don't know if they're in it, they're not in it, but they kind of had a decent enough finish up to the week. They won 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, and that kind of snuck them back into things a little bit. They're only a game and a half, I believe it's a game and a half behind San Francisco, 2 games in the loss column, and tied in the loss column with Atlanta for that last wild card spot. Yeah. So they're right in it. They have some very important games coming up this week. They have 6 games at home, 3 against the Cardinals and 3 against the Reds. And they need to, 2 out of 3 is going to have to be the deal the rest of the way here. The way I had it figured out, if they won 2 out of 3 in every series, and then they have 2 series that are 4-game series, and they split those, they'd win 87. And that may be enough, it might not be enough, but that's the minimum they're going to have to do to give themselves a shot to make it. They needed to win yesterday against Milwaukee to really have a chance to win the division. They needed that sweep, I think. But we'll see what the Brewers do. They haven't been playing very well.
By the way, Mike and I have decided, and of course George on Monday is going to be a part of this. It'll be the last Monday night that we're going to take this, but we are offering a $25 dinner gift certificate to the person who correctly predicts the Steeler record for 2014. The ties won't count.
Right.
So the wins will be the
wins, right.
okay. Now, I've got, so far, we only did this for a couple of weeks. I've got 10 names, including myself and for Mike. So when you call, just tell us what you think the Steeler record is going to be. We'll put your name down. If there's a tie, we're going to have a random drawing. And we're going to give away one $25 gift certificate to a good restaurant in the AK Valley. Okay?
It's worth it.
So,
And you do have to
All
do
right.
nothing but take a guess. That's it.
okay. We'll take a break. We're coming back, and we'll start the program tonight. We'll be talking with you folks. And again, get on the horn with us at 724-236-0430. Back in a flash. Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
For over 38 years and 3 generations, Arnold Furniture has been the area's favorite furniture store. We have over 4 floors of living rooms, dining rooms, recliners, bedding, carpeting, and so much more.
You'll always find friendly personal service from one of the family.
And our prices consistently beat the competition, plus free local delivery and free setup guaranteed. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
All right, folks, if you're looking for a pre-owned automobile, let me suggest the great people at Tower Auto Sales in Blonox. You've got the best in products, selection, customer communication, and what really counts is the best service after the sale. Try them out. Tower Auto Sales in Blonox. Just buy it is their pet phrase. Give Mike Fando a call, 828-6202, and of course that's area code 412. All right, we're back on the show, and we begin with our first caller tonight. Tony leads us off. Welcome, Tony. Good evening.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, Tom.
Good.
I see El Polanco, El Stinko, El Gano, huh?
He's El Gano, and they brought your bunny back up to replace him, Tabitha.
Ain't that great? They should
lovely?
have left him where he was at and kept Polanco. Jeez, oh, man. That's all we have to bring up and down, huh?
You know, if they held on to Alvarez with all the problems he had, although he's not going back to third base, that's the word from the Bucco dugout, okay? Why would you not hold on to Polanco?
I think there's a money element. If you really want to go, hear the Pirates doing that again, this is going to be even if he's just down for a week, well, that's 7 days that he doesn't accrue in Major League service, and if that's the case, then that's that's 7 days that they gain on the Super 2 thing. That was the reason they didn't call him up in the first place.
Right.
So,
right.
if you look at the baseball part of it, he's won for his last 30. He's really struggling, and maybe they figure they can get him straightened out down there better than they can get him straightened out up in the major leagues.
But see, that's where he came from.
Well, yeah, and he pretty much. And what else does he have to prove down there? Now, the point is this. Now, and you know this too, Tone, that they sent Mickey Mantle back to them. I mean, guys, good players, great players have gone back to the minors, and if you're going to be a great player, it's not going to hurt you.
No,
so,
I guess not. But that's providing they can fix his problem. And his problem is he wants to pull everything.
Oh, that's exactly it.
And I just don't understand it. I mean, you have a batting coach here. You trying to tell them they don't look at film and that they can't tell They can't fix it. They can't show him, what he's doing wrong. And then if he can't get it, then El Dumbo, send him to the Steelers. He could be a running back.
Exactly. The part that kills us is that, we waited the whole first 2 months of the season to get Polanco up here so we could get rid of Talbot and Snyder in right field. And here we come down the stretch, and who's playing right field again?
There we go.
I mean,
and our catcher's gone.
There's no doubt.
You could bet your bottom dollar because unbelievable. People wake up. This guy don't want to do anything but collect money. He says, "Oh well, sometimes you have to release a good player. Other teams will offer him this, and other teams will offer him that. Well, let's get somebody in there that could take care of that. Let's get an owner. This is ridiculous." And these people keep going down there and keep feeding him and feeding him. Well, you know what? You deserve what you get. That's great.
I don't disagree with you. And here's the thing that, and he even said, Huntington, yesterday on his show, not only is he greasing the skids for the loss of Martin, he even said out loud that we're probably going to have one of these a year.
Huh. Oh yeah. Walker probably be gone.
Exactly.
And
believe me, there'll be an excuse for everyone. Well, Walker's back always acts up, so we can't. So that
oh
wouldn't
yeah,
really be smart.
that's what he is.
There's going to be a reason for everyone they have, and you watch, and I've been saying it for 2 years what their payroll is going to be next year. That they've gone from about 78 million last year to about 74 million this year, and next year it's probably going to be about 65.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it one bit. I mean, this is pathetic. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know my boy. He lives in Missouri, and he tells me what they think out there. He says the Pirates are a laughingstock. Other, Kansas City, you listen to them, and other places, and they have a lot of guts even, say anything about the Pirates, but it's the truth. The people are supporting them. You got that great stadium down there, and this guy keeps giving it to them, and they keep accepting it. That's what I don't understand. I mean, phew.
Tony, it's
P.T. Boydum was right. There's a sucker born every day and two to take them. Well, baby, you didn't come here. There's 100,000 to take them.
That's right.
It's unbelievable. I just got, oh, brother, in that game yesterday, I don't know. They could have easily won that. It was close enough. I understand, Worrell had that bad couple innings, but still, 4-3. Try to do something. Try to bunt. Try to do anything to shake that pitcher up. But they don't do that.
Take a look at another side of the coin, Tony, is how do you think the pitchers feel when they're having what they would consider a good day, and except for a couple of bad breaks, they'd be ahead, but the offense is doing nothing?
Yeah, well, I didn't think they would feel, Bob. Geez, you go out there and you're bust. And then how about the offense when they go out and get some runs, and then the pitchers can't hold the lead? It's a two-way street there. And that's what they've been doing. So,
well,
but they needed help. They needed help after last year. They needed help at the beginning, and geez, guys,
They didn't get any in the wintertime when they needed to. Well,
nothing. And now they're talking about is there this week or something? They're going to be another period of time where you could pick up players and that, right?
Yeah, it's up to August 31st. You have to have someone in your organization on August 31st if they're to be eligible to play in the playoffs. Remember last year on August 31st or thereabouts, they made the trade with the Mets to get John Buck and Marlon Byrd, and then they also made the trade with the Twins to get Justin Morneau. Those trades were both made on Labor Day weekend, and they right before the first, and they were able to get in here. But from what we're hearing this year is that way more guys are getting claimed, that people aren't getting through waivers, and that it's more difficult. And from what I've heard, and really their biggest need right now is they could use some arms to get them down the stretch.
Definitely.
They could use another
starter. They could have used some arm after last season was over.
Well, obviously.
You know what I mean? You know what? This is probably right down his line. He's got all the excuses now. You know what? There ain't that many guys out there, and and they ain't going through waivers. I can't pick up.
Can't do it. We tried real hard, and
Oh yeah, we tried real hard.
Right.
Wait till next year when we have nobody. But keep buying them tickets. I'm still selling them tickets. I'm going to raise the prices.
more than last year. And then not only that, they'll be more than happy to tell you that they've sold more tickets than they've ever sold, and they'll still have a lower payroll, and they're still going to ask you to buy that.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? He knows their suckers are out there. So
They're out there.
All right, now the Steelers.
Sure.
I want to change my prediction. I want to go. I said 9 and what?
9 and 7.
Yeah, I want to 0 and 16. I think.
0 and 16. Okay, we're going to write that down.
Oh my God, wasn't that pitiful?
It was bad, and here's the thing, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that is, I said that I was more interested in what happened in August this year, that they needed to have a better August because I didn't like the way they played in the preseason last year, and the way that they went into the season. That they had no role. So I can't then look at last Thursday's game and say it's only preseason and just let it go. I can't do that. I have to stick with what I said. So now that officially makes me worried. So there.
And all the tendencies were there again.
They were.
The middle wide open on the runs, the middle wide opens on the pass. It's just unbelievable.
Tony, and don't forget now, our future opponents are looking at game film. And they're making notes on all the weaknesses. They got them all plotted out. We're going to be exploited in the same areas in the game Thursday night. Take it to the bank.
Bob, the other teams can look at films four years ago. It'll be the same.
Well, here's the problem. And
it's the same, Bob. It hasn't changed.
That's
what I'm saying.
I have a couple numbers for you here, and this is alarming. And I noticed this on Thursday, and this really bothered me. Is that on 70% of the downs, this is the first team playing now, okay? Just in the preseason. On 70% of the downs, the first team has been out there. They've been in their nickel defense, which is that 2 defensive linemen, the 4 linebackers, and the 5 defensive backs.
Right.
With basically, you have Tuitt and Hayward playing defensive tackle, and you have Worlds and Jarvis Jones playing defensive end. They're basically a 4-3 team with a small front. And what's happened on those plays is that the opposing quarterback walks up to the line of scrimmage, they see them in this formation, and they check to a run. And on those on those snaps, they're allowing 7.3 yards a carry on the ground.
7.3, wow. Sure. Hey, it's very easy. They go up there, and the quarterback looks, he'll throw it or he'll run it because they just advertise what they're going to do.
I don't care how much you change the way the game changes and how they throw the ball around and the offenses and blah blah blah. If you can't stop the run, you can't win.
No,
and that goes back
no.
And that goes back to the beginning of time. And they're going to have to change something because what they're doing isn't working.
Yeah, and maybe they just don't have the players to change it.
Very possible. Very possible.
And I think he has completely lost his team. I don't think this team respects him anymore.
After the last thing.
Yeah, I mean, these penalties are getting ridiculous because I think the officials think, this touching after you go after 5 yards, they're just touching, jostling back and forth. They're not you grab somebody, that's different, And I just think they're just throwing flags every time they even see it because they think it's ridiculous too. They're changing some of these rules and they're just going to ruin the game.
I think I agree with you that I could see an official saying, "Hey, they want me to throw it. I'm just going to throw it every single time."
Yeah, I'm going to throw it, even if they sneezed on me, on him.
And see how ridiculous. Here's the thing that bothers me is this competition committee gets together and they look at the games and I swear that they try to change rules every year just to justify their existence. How anyone in their right mind could have watched the season last year where they broke the record for points again, they broke the record for yards again, and all the scoring records and and Peyton Manning and the whole thing. How you could watch that and come to the conclusion that the defense had an unfair advantage? What are they looking at?
Yeah. People go to see scoring. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what sport it is. They want to see scoring.
Obviously,
that's why they juice the baseball.
Well, and look the other way with the steroids. I mean,
right. And you go to basketball, anything. When they put rules in to stop that, and then you're gonna start destroying the sports now.
Right.
Now, I don't care, if these other teams don't score at all against the Steelers. I would like to see that.
Right.
But I understand that's what all the rules are for, is to I think tie the defense's hands more.
It is
just like the Mel Blunt thing.
I read an article in the New York Times. Yes, sometimes I can read the New York Times online. I read an article in the New York Times that said that the main impetus behind these changes are fantasy football. That the way they're growing the sport with the people watching fantasy football is bringing so much money into the NFL that they want more scoring.
Ain't that amazing?
Isn't that
fantasy
unbelievable?
Football. I mean, when you got to pay $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 for one season ticket.
Oh.
That's not fantasy to me.
No, and you have to pay extra if you want to get the red zone to watch it at home.
Let me call it time. Tony, we're out of time.
All right. We're out of time. I understand. Okay. Now what?
Now
Well,
then.
You are eligible for multiple choice only.
I understand that. We talked about that last week.
Okay.
Now, next week will be September.
Correct.
If I happen to win tonight, I will not be eligible for my Grand Salami charge for my Grand
That is
Salami.
correct. So you can pass if you like.
Now, can I try to win one for somebody else,
You mean
like I used to do?
an anonymous, like the next?
Yeah.
An anonymous
Let's say
donor.
anybody from 70 years old down.
All right, Tony. Let's give you question number, 6 we start with tonight?
Right.
You want to
Okay.
do it, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it. Here we
All
go,
right.
Tony. Tony in L.A. Name the only player to appear in 3 consecutive World Series for 3 different teams. The only player to play in 3 consecutive World Series on 3 different teams. Don Baylor, Dusty Baker, Bobo Newsom, or Ricky Henderson.
Don Baylor.
That is absolutely correct, Tony. Don Baylor in 86 with Boston, 87 with the Minnesota Twins, and 88 with the Oakland Athletics.
Now,
And
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Didn't somebody else just do this?
I don't believe so.
No, I thought, I swear I heard something about that. Somebody,
I will
but
check
Baylor
during
was
break.
first, but okay, but maybe I'm
did,
wrong. But
but
if,
go ahead.
you guys
Okay,
got
I said
confused.
Bob already. Okay, yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm serious. You go ahead and double check
Okay.
that. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tony.
I don't know why I thought that after last year's World Series said, well, now this guy
Maybe
tied.
somebody did. Yeah. Well, we'll look it up.
All right, no problem.
Thanks,
All right,
Tom.
so anybody that calls, male or female, 70 and younger.
Okay.
Next time I'll do it over 70. But
You got it.
oh, by the way, they just had a birthday.
All right.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Tony.
much.
All right,
See you
God bless.
guys. Have a great week.
All right,
you
commercial
too.
break
Have a nice
time.
holiday.
Mike and I will come back, and John from, we're in Virginia.
Fairfax, Virginia.
Fairfax,
We are worldwide on the web now.
and have been for over
Yes, very
a
important.
good while. Anyway, back in a flash. The show continues momentarily.
Allegheny Beverage on Freeport Road in Natrona Heights has Natural Light and Natural Ice 30 packs for just $14.99. Stop by Allegheny Beverage on Freeport Road and pick up some cold, natty light or ice. Here we go.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
There once was a hungry road that wouldn't let drivers get very far. It wore out their tires, forcing them to buy new ones. Then along came the Michelin Man who proved the right tire changes everything. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Drive longer with the Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile limited warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tarentum and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
Myrna's Brewery Outlet on Carl Avenue in New Kensington has 16-ounce Budweiser and Bud Light aluminum bottles for just $21.99. Stop by Myrna's Brewery in New Kensington and pick up some cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Folks, what a great night for a pizza. What a great night for a pizza. All you got to do is call Mattio's, Brackenridge Heights in Brackenridge, at 724-904-7312. Have them get one ready for you or have it delivered. Everything on their menu is made with quality ingredients, whether it's their pizzas, their sandwiches and subs and hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, what have you. Mattio's has the tastiest. Give them a call.
Can we answer Tony's question now?
Yes,
I consulted
I'm glad
the Google
you did
machine,
that,
and
Mike,
it's
because
and he was right. It's very recent. It's Eric Hinsky is the second person to do this. Eric Hinsky played 3 different teams in the World Series 3 different years: 07 with Boston, 08 with Tampa Bay, and 09 with the Yankees. He won with the Red Sox and the Yankees and lost with Tampa. Eric Hinsky, currently the first base coach for the Chicago Cubs after recently retiring, and spent a very brief amount of time with the Buccos.
he did.
Prior to that, he wasn't making the World Series in Pittsburgh, that's for sure. It's there's a better chance of that happening now, obviously.
Yeah. Let's see if John was able to hold on long enough. John, are you there?
I am here.
Hi,
Virginia by way of Erie by way of Springdale. So wherever you guys want to say I am now.
That's
all
like
good.
that's the Bermuda Triangle, John. Erie,
There's a
Springdale,
lot of people get lost in there, yeah.
Virginia, yes.
What's
So
on your
I'm
mind?
wondering, as the Roger Goodell power trip continues,
Okay.
will the inevitable suspensions of Le'Veon Bell and LeGarrette LeBlanc, will that be over, on an over-under, on will it be worse than a 2-game suspension for beating your girlfriend, or will it be an over-under for the 6 games Ben got for allegedly having that incident in Georgia with a woman where no charges were actually filed? So, how many games do you think they're going to be suspended, and will Goodell just simply ban the Steelers from the league at this point?
Let me ask this. What should it be? Not what we think it's going to be, but what should the suspension be?
Well,
I mean, they were found with the goods.
This is spelled out specifically in the collective bargaining agreement. And it will be max a game. And that's max, 1.
1 game.
And it probably won't be till next year. It won't happen this year because he's still trying to get around to Josh Gordon, which supposedly happened 6 months ago. He hasn't even got to that yet. They just suspended Dwayne, but now how about this? If this would have happened, if these guys would have tested positive for marijuana, we would have never heard about it because the first test, the first positive is kept confidential. Nothing happens to them. They get put in the program. So Dwayne Bowe was just suspended for 1 game from the Kansas City Chiefs, and he will miss the first game of this season for an incident that happened last November, having previously been suspended for 4 games. There's a good chance that these guys don't get anything. And I think that Bell's in worse trouble because he had the DUI, okay? So nothing is going to happen until the legal system plays out. These charges are going to get pled backwards. They're not going to get pled forwards. So my prediction is Bell 1 game, Blunt no games. And it won't happen until next year. Now, Mike Tomlin, John, today said that the Steelers still have that they will take action on their own on the table, but they won't make it public. So what does that tell you? It can't be games suspended because it would be public if they got suspended. And they got in trouble by the Players Association and the league when they handled the Santonio Holmes suspension back a few years back on their own. That the Players Association was upset about that they didn't let the legal system play out on it, and they basically got their wrist slapped and told you let the league handle it. And so there may be a fine involved. Now, Le'Veon Bell had to pay his way to Philadelphia. He didn't make the plane. Well, he's not going to get reimbursed for that. So whatever he had to pay to get on an airplane to fly to Philadelphia,
A couple of $100.
that'll be a punishment. But yeah, for however much it costs to fly one way to Philly, it probably isn't that. But it's worse than flying on a round trip probably. But so my prediction is Bell 1 game, Blunt no games, and it won't be till next year.
Huh. Now, how far we've fallen since Ricky Williams.
Yeah. Ricky Williams and he didn't care. You talk about ruining a career. He would rather get high than play, and that kid had all the talent in the world. I mean, Mike Ditka traded his whole draft for him when he was the coach of the Saints. Ricky Williams had a lot of talent. And you remember, after his prime had passed because he was spending time getting high, basically, that he played a couple of really good, solid seasons after, at the end of his career, and then finally just decided to go away because he didn't want to be bothered anymore. But
no one can forget that time with the Toronto Argonauts, of course.
Yeah, well, who doesn't love to go to Canada? But so yeah, that's my guess. I think people have kind of gone way off the deep end here, and this stuff is spelled out in the collective bargaining agreement. And like I said, now here's the thing we don't know. The thing we don't know is, are these guys already in the program? They may have already tested positive at some point because we wouldn't know about that. And if that's the case, then any subsequent thing that happens after that, then the
another
games
offense
start to get lopped on. You have to basically be a 3-time fail before you get the 4 game.
That's amazing.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well,
and yet baseball's the complete opposite on all of this, aren't they?
Well, but I'll tell you what, John, first time offense PEDs, NFL 4 games.
So okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's 2 separate things, and I'll tell you what, they are working. The NFL is working toward lessening the severity of suspensions for marijuana because they are getting input from a lot of players that it's the best pain remedy out there, which I, of course, look at as an excuse to get high. But they're basically working toward, with the Players Association, the league is, that if you test positive for smoking weed or whatever it is, that it's basically just going to get swept away and no one's ever going to know about it. Now, nothing's happened to that effect yet. They haven't gotten to that yet, but that could be where they're headed.
I had no idea. I thought it was that 4 games, over and done with.
Nope. It's not. And like I said, I wouldn't expect anything to happen this year just because of the snail's pace. He has a stack, Goodell, has a stack of these of appeals on his desk right now with week 1 looming. I mean, look at Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, that was picked up with basically a lot more drugs in his car than these guys had. By the way, how stupid were these two? On the way to work, and I got into it with somebody this week that said, well, but this is 2014 and it's legal in 2 states and medicinally it's legal in many states. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to smoke it at work. Alcohol is legal, but you can't show up at work drunk. And there has to be some sort of way to.
And by the way, in the 2 states where marijuana is legal, the rate of traffic accidents has gone up.
Well, gee, there's a surprise.
Wow.
Well, how about Le'Veon Bell? He didn't know that there was a DUI for being under the influence of marijuana. You could be under the influence. That's what Irsay's issue was. Not only was he drinking, but he was also taking prescription drugs, and he had thousands of dollars in cash in a bag on the back seat to go buy some more whatever he was having. Whatever the drugs, prescription drugs, is what he was buying. Which, by the way, and a lot of people look at that, and that happened to Brett Favre. That doesn't make it any better just because the doctor writes you out a prescription. It killed Elvis, for God's sakes. I mean, if you get a doctor that'll write you out the script, that doesn't make it any better. So, this is all collectively bargained, and that's the thing. And everybody needed to take a deep breath and slow down because I heard all kind of stuff on the day that this happened as they were leading up to the game. That this is going to be this is going to be that, and it just shows you, John, how overboard and out of control Goodell was when he first took this job, the suspension that he gave to Roethlisberger. It was completely ridiculous. You don't hear anything now about that personal conduct policy that he cited to make that suspension. After the last collective bargaining agreement was signed, and remember, the Steelers voted against that. They were the only team that voted against that collective bargaining agreement because they were upset at what Goodell had done to Ben. And he has really scaled that back right now. And now I'm still waiting for Josh Gordon. It spells it out. It's supposed to be a year for this one for him. And you know how many, from what I just described to you, how many tests you got to fail to get a year? That it's supposed to be a year because he can't stay away from the weed. And they're basically, his defense on his appeal was it was secondhand smoke. So they haven't, he still hasn't ruled on that. And the first game's a week and a half away.
Well,
Okay, so away from the actual policy, should more of us be outraged that it was on their way to work? Does that show a locker room issue or a disrespect of Coach Tomlin? I mean, the no-ring mafia, as one of my friends coined it, these Steelers who've come in post-Super Bowl win, who have no idea what the Steelers winning tradition is all about, are they in control, and is this a problem?
It's a great question, and Ryan Clark said it, and you have him to deal with down there in Washington now, John. Ryan Clark's back with the Redskins, and he said in between stints, after he had left the Steelers and before he had signed his new contract, that I think the number, I believe that he estimated was 40% of his teammates on the Steelers last year smoked marijuana. And everybody said you're crazy, and here's the other thing about the tests. And I talked about the tests. I know we have to go to a break, but the testing procedure is for recreational drugs is this. You are tested once a year, either in minicamp, which is in May, or in training camp, which is in July. Once those are passed, there are no more tests unless you are in the program, unless you have failed before. If you've been clean all the way through, so you know these two guys had their test in Latrobe, or they had it on the south side back earlier, and once that test is gone, and they knew they had to stay clean for that test, you stay clean leading into minicamp, you stay clean leading into training camp. Once that's gone, they know that as long as they weren't pulled over for driving under the influence of it, that they weren't going to get caught for a whole other calendar year because there were no more tests.
Wow. All right, well, I won't take any more of your time. I've learned a lot. Let's go for a multiple choice, if you don't mind.
all right, John, you have question number 7. And here we go. Question number 7. NFL. Name the only NFL player to win the Associated Press Player of the Year award for 3 consecutive seasons. Bart Starr, Jerry Rice, Brett Favre, Terry Bradshaw.
I'm going to take a stab at Jerry Rice.
Well, stab is incorrect. Brett Favre, 95, 96, and 97.
I gave you the answer while we were talking. I mentioned him.
Should have went with my John Madden instinct so well.
Exactly. Thanks, John.
Hey, John, have a good one.
Appreciate the call.
Say hello to the gentleman that you brought into the studio a few weeks back. All right.
I'm going to try and goad him into calling. We'll see.
Okay.
Hey, please do. Have him give us a call.
We love it. Thanks,
All right.
John.
Break time. And Mike and I will be coming back right after this timeout. Since 1914, the local area has relied on the Resevich family of funeral homes in deepest times of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley, now 100 years strong and still doing things right. Its reputation and unquestionable service now continues with the 4th generation. The Resevich family of funeral homes, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road in Lower Borough.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Visit 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse in Murraysville for low discount pricing and a huge variety of inventory that changes weekly. We have everything from new name brand furniture and mattresses to tools, automotive supplies, utility trailers, pet supplies, and all season merchandise. Plus, our lawn and garden center has the best variety of seasonal plants, shrubs, mulch, and more. It's all under one roof at discount prices. 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse is open Tuesday through Sunday in Murraysville. Call us or visit shop380.com.
Well, Tower Auto Sales, located on Freeport Road in Blawnox, have 3 indoor showrooms. It's a full-service facility with an experienced staff. They feature Lexus products, but they do have all makes and models to choose from. And of course, with the internet being what it is, I'll tell you what, you go to Tower Auto and they'll get what it is you want. You have the luxury of choice, so just buy it at Tower Auto Sales. Get a hold of Mike Fanto at 412-828-6202. Don't forget my radio show on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, WAVL in Apollo. It's on sports history, sports nostalgia. This thing keeps coming.
It is. It's
back
loose.
down. Anyway.
Well, hey, high school football this week, Bob. Can you believe we're
Yeah.
there? We talked about it being Labor Day weekend. And
your game is up at Fort City.
I have we're going to be heavy Allegheny Conference this year because Highlands has moved into the Allegheny Conference along with Berlin Valley and all our other locals. So we have that. So you have Berlin Valley for the umpteenth time. Have you been to every
I'm just
one?
going to say that since they started playing, and of course before that it was Kenai and Burl.
Right.
But I have never missed a Burl Valley football game, and until a better play comes along, the pass from Serluco to Kennedy remains the highlight.
And for the gift selection from the Spiegel catalog, do you remember who kicked the extra point? That was the first time they played. That game was at Valley. I believe I was either a sophomore or a junior. That was the first time they played, and the game that tied the game at 6 in the dying seconds.
And who kicked the extra point?
For Burrow kicked the extra point to win the game.
Would I know?
Probably. It was a lineman, because the lineman kicking back then. Gosh, you out there.
Help me out, Mike.
Bill Kreider.
Oh my gosh!
Kicked
You
the
know
extra
what?
point, and Burrow won 7-6, and that was the first time they
No.
played. Now I believe Valley's had the better of the. We know what
Why?
the season series is. George does, but
Why I should never have forgotten that. His dad worked for the phone company.
Okay.
And in those days, would hook up the line that we used to broadcast the football
live games out of Valley, right?
So here's Mr. Kreider. I don't know if the family is still around or not. I have no clue.
I don't know.
However, I will say this. I should have known. I should have never forgotten.
That was,
and from this point on, because of that tack-on
That was a
story,
while back.
I probably will not.
Yeah, I think that was, wouldn't that have been 80, 81, something like that. I was either
Kennedy.
I remember the game my senior year, which would have been the fall of 81, and that is when Bill Callahan, the game was at Burl, and Bill Callahan ran wild. The place was completely packed, 3, 4, 5, 6 deep along the fences, along the track, on the outside. And Saturday afternoon, of course, at Burl. And Bill Callahan probably got himself his scholarship that day because they could not tackle him. And Valley put a hurting on Burl that day. And it's been a great rivalry ever since, obviously. There have been some back and forth. The first night game at Burl was played. And Valley went in there and beat him like 50-0, wasn't it?
Oh, gosh.
Just a complete and utter whitewash. Joke always was when they turned the lights on at the stadium at Burl for the first time, everybody's houses went dim in Lower Burl that night. So nobody expected that to happen. But
well, Mike, it's
that's
been
a great rivalry.
It has been.
And sometimes it's at the end of the year, sometimes at the beginning of the year. And this year, like I said, Allegheny Conference is great because it's the AA conference, and there are 10 teams in it, which means that you start off from week 1 and it's a conference game the whole way through the season.
Right.
And there are no non-conference games. You don't have to worry about when are you going to rest a guy.
Yeah.
Like Sam Albert did it on Highlands last year. They had that stupid Ringgold game stuck with a week to go in the season. And he said, you know what? I don't want anybody hurt for the end of the season. And he rested guys. And there are no decisions like that now.
Well, Burrow had Bronzeville, Valley had Hollidaysburg, schools like that. And I like it this way. You have a section game every week.
It's great stuff. And Highlands is going to go to Ford City this week to open it up. Highlands dropping down, which is hard to believe that at one time, not that long ago, Highlands was a Quad A team. And now they're in Double A. And I got the Ford City roster today. Denny Stewart, right on top of things up there, been the AD at Ford City for a long time. That their roster, Ford City's roster, Double A roster, this is probably typical. 34 players, 14 of which are freshmen. The Highlands roster has 66 on it.
And how many freshmen?
You know what? I didn't count.
4 or 5?
No, more. No.
More?
It's split pretty evenly among the 4 classes. Not a lot of seniors for Highlands this year, but a lot of kids back that played skill positions. What they're looking to do now is try to replenish up front. They need linemen because all those kids graduated. But Blake Leary's back for his 3rd year as a quarterback. Elijah Jackson's 3rd year at running back. And they have a lot of great skilled players.
Yeah, they should be
they've looked. I've
one
seen
of the
both
early
scrimmages.
season favorites.
I've seen both scrimmages. They look really good, but you don't know the competition. They scrimmaged Hopewell the first game as a AAA team, but they may be down. They didn't have great numbers either. But it's going to be great every week. You'll be able to see the games on 190 on Tuesday night. So everybody stay tuned for those.
All right, let's go to the limo man who's on the phone with us right now.
I did today, and look what you're doing.
What's going on, Limo?
Oh, what's going on?
How are you? You're on. Talk to us.
Yeah, I'm on. You know what I told Bob Nutting? He's the biggest asshole I ever talked to.
All right, that'll be the end. Go ahead, cut him. Thank you, Josh. That was nice.
Thank you, Mike. You're quicker than I.
We apologize for that, and we'll move on. Back to high school football. So anyway, I have the schedule for week 1, Allegheny conference-wise anyway, and these are all local teams, of course. We said Burroughs at Valley, Highlands at Ford City. Highlands at Ford City game will be 6:30 on Channel 190 on Tuesday, and the Burroughs Valley game will be immediately following at 8:30. That'll be pretty much the schedule, and we'll let you guys know. Apollo Ridge at West Shamokin, Katanning at Deer Lakes. Katanning looks like they're strong. And Shady Side Academy will be at Freeport to play the Yellow Jackets. And what I'm going to do is we're going to have a break here coming up pretty quick. I'm going to get the schedule for the other locals, and we'll get them out there too. So we have the opportunity to talk about it. We don't get to do it all the time, so we'll do it.
All right. We're going to do a break, and we will come back. Mike and I are here for, this is our final show in August anyway. So, folks, we'll take a break. We're coming back briefly. We're going to wrap it up right here. Stay with us, folks. Sportsline Trivia will continue after this.
Myrna's Brewery Outlet on Carl Avenue in New Kensington has 16-ounce Budweiser and Bud Light aluminum bottles for just $21.99. Stop by Myrna's Brewery in New Kensington and pick up some cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Burrell.
What is it that makes a Husqvarna dealer a Husqvarna dealer? Well, just look close at the engineering in our outdoor power equipment. We're known for high performance and reliability in everything we make. So is it any wonder your Husqvarna dealer is also known for high performance and reliability in everything they do? With a nationwide network of Husqvarna dealers, there's one just around the corner.
Allegheny Beverage on Freeport Road in Natrona Heights has Natural Light and Natural Ice 30 packs for just $14.99. Stop by Allegheny Beverage on Freeport Road and pick up some cold, natty light or ice. Here we go.
All right, folks, we're going to give you, I don't know how to handle this. There are 4 Pirate pitchers. There are 4 Pirate pitchers who at one time were starters in an all-star game, okay? Would like to know how many you can name. Now, if this is something that we continue on next week's show, that's fine. But if you have any clue, I have the whole list, and there are only 4. All right, now, who's on the line with us now? All right, Philip, Fairfax, Virginia, caller number 2 from that great city.
Budding metropolis.
How are you, Philip?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
By the way, Josh in the studio, can you throw that click off?
That's all right.
Okay, there you go. Now we can hear
Go
you.
ahead.
I'm good, guys. How are you?
We're doing well. How are you?
It was the first day back to work for teachers today, so I was kind of sleepy on the couch, and I heard John in the other room saying about, I'm gonna try to give him the call. So,
All right.
Here
So what do you got for us?
the other day, one of the stories that popped up on my news feed was the power rankings for the AFC.
Okay.
And I want to know what you guys think about this, because they had Denver Broncos first. Okay. New England Patriots second. Okay. And then they had the Steelers as third.
I saw that.
I know I'm a Steelers fan, but I don't think they're the third best team in the AFC right now.
Well, I've been optimistic. I thought they were going to be all right before I saw that thing Thursday that I'm still not exactly sure what to make of it. But, and I saw that and I just thought it was strange. I think what it may tell you is the relative strength of the AFC as a whole. I don't know how many teams are, other than the Patriots and the Broncos.
Now, where was this listed, by the way?
I got it I saw it on Twitter, and I don't know exactly where it came from, but it was resent to me, and it was a.
I just wondered who would have made the pick.
Right, and it had the Steelers listed as third. But if you start thinking about it, if you think they're the favorite to win the division, what's the AFC South look like? Do you really think that the Colts are that good? Now, they have a great one quarterback, but is the rest of their team that good? Is Houston going to challenge them? And when you start thinking about it, it's it may be a top-heavy conference, and if that's the case, then it gives you a chance. But the Steelers' defense is going to have to prove they can stop somebody to my satisfaction before I'm willing to go out on that limb.
No, I completely agree. I watched two drives on Thursday, and just like, what is this that we're watching? They were just awful.
And and the thing about the Eagles is that offense is going to make some defenses look like that, and I understand that. And just the way they play and the tempo that they use, frankly, they've even slowed it down a little bit, which it's hard to believe that they have. And I just don't think the way that the Steelers match up against those spread teams very well, if they're going to play that two-man line thing that they've been doing for the first 3 exhibition games. Now, I don't know. Things should be a little bit different here. I don't know what you're going to learn against Carolina. Ben has already told reporters he's not going to play. So I wouldn't imagine too much of the first-string offense is going to be out there. But are you going to want to get the defense some work to see if they can stop somebody? Now, Cam Newton's not going to play for Carolina because he got hurt in their last game, so that puts Derek Anderson in there. And for those of us that remember Derek Anderson in Cleveland, he's not going to run the same kind of offense that Cam Newton does. He's not going to run around. He's going to be a stationary target back there. So that might make things a little bit different on how the Steelers plan to attack that. But I think they got to put that first team defense out there just to get a good feeling about themselves. Even if they stop one drive 3 and out, I'd set them down and say, that's it, get out, and then we'll take that for, as something. But Polamalu lost, I don't know if you saw it, Phil. But Polamalu lost his mind on the sidelines on Thursday. I've never seen it before, screaming at the players to get their heads straight and get in the game.
By the way, for the next game Thursday night, Roethlisberger will not see a snap.
Right, that's what he's told reporters, so he's not going to play. I would expect that the starting offensive line might get maybe a series or so, but you're going to see a lot. But this is what happens in these fourth exhibition games. It's gotten to the point where you would think that you would want your starters to play in that game and get a lot of work. That starters, guys that make a lot of money, don't play that game. And this way, now, so what do we know? Ben's going to be healthy going into the first game, and that's the most important thing is health.
Right.
And the Steelers have done, knock on wood, have gotten out of this very healthy so far. The only thing they had, Sean Spence hurt his knee Thursday, but supposedly he won't need surgery. It may be a few weeks, but he'll be okay. And Jason World's got a bump on the knee, but from what everybody says, he's been all right. I don't know if there was any reports from practice today if he did work or not. But, if he's got a little ding, then you don't play him either. There's no reason to get anybody hurt in the fourth preseason game when basically you're using it to cut down your roster.
Philip, are you old enough to remember the seasons where we had 6 exhibition games and 14 or so? Was it 14?
14,
when we had
it was
the 6,
20 total, but it was 6 exhibitions. And if you won the Super Bowl, you played the College All-Star game and you had 7 exhibition games.
It's amazing. Do you remember that at all from your earlier childhood?
I don't remember. I mean, I remember the 90s when they were bad at one point. I remember the 95 Super Bowl where we threw to the other team and lost, the Cowboys. But it's kind of hazy. I might have wanted to forget about the 90s a little bit.
Yeah.
And after that was just too young.
There were some good years in the 90s. They had some pretty decent teams, but they never had a great quarterback, and that's why they couldn't get over the hump, really. The one year they did get to the Super Bowl, Neil O'Donnell played great, and that's why they got there.
By the way,
the Super Bowl, of course.
I don't know that we have Philip in our contest here.
Yeah, Philip, we need you to guess Steelers' record for this year. We need to put you on the list.
Do you want my pick from if I would have said it last week or after watching Thursday, what I really think is going to be now?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I was thinking I was originally going to go with 11-5. I'm going to go with 10-6 now.
Okay, that's
10
fine.
I don't want to say 9-7. I really have a little more hope for him still, but I'm going to say 10-6.
All right, 10-6, you're in.
You got it.
You're in the book.
Now, the winner, by the way, if there is a tie, and I don't see, oh, there is one other. Mike from Arnold has also predicted 10-6. But
Terry
if we have more than one, do we have Terry?
Terry's 10-6.
Yeah, 3 of them. All right, if we have more than one, we'll have a random drawing.
Popular choice.
And we'll have a handsome $25 dinner gift certificate going out to the winner.
So we want to give Philip a question here quickly before we...
Philip, let's do a quick trivia.
Multiple choice.
And if you win, we'll make sure somebody, if you have relatives in the Pittsburgh area, we'll give them the prize, okay?
Okay.
Your turn.
Let's go. Here we are. Who hit the first home run in Oakland A's team history? What a great question. The first home run in Oakland A's team history. I'll give you a small little hint. They moved to Oakland in the late 60s, middle 60s. Sal Bando, Rick Monday, Reggie Jackson, or Bert Campaneris. The first home run in Oakland A's history.
I have no idea. I'll take a guess. I'll do the last guy, Bert
Campaneris.
Yeah.
No, it's not Bert. It was Reggie Jackson. I figured you could have gone with the Hall of Famer. You'd have had it. Reggie Jackson did it in 1968, so that was their first year in existence in Oakland. They had moved from Kansas City.
Philip, don't be a stranger, man. Hope you call back.
Thank you.
I definitely will. Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right, appreciate it.
Before we go, quickly, Springdale at Sarah Catholic, Riverview at Jeanette. Those are our other Plum at Hempfield, Fox Chapel at North Hills, Franklin Regional at Knock. I think I covered just about everyone.
Okay, gotcha. It's going to wrap it up for tonight. Back next week at the same time, same station. I'm Bob Tattern.
I'm Mike Pavlik.
Good night. Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl and Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.